Hey everyone, it's Trader Rob. Today is Sunday, April 19th. Feels like a month ago that I made these last Sunday video with so much price action that we've had in the markets. But wow, what an absolute ripper this week. It's the markets have really shown how resilient they can be, especially in a very strong uptrending market like we've seen this last past week here, actually for the last couple of weeks. And unfortunately for our bands and levels, price has just been on an absolute rocket ship to the upside. So we really didn't test many of the levels or the bands. I believe maybe one level on the ES and one band on the NQ that we'll go over here in a little bit. Got a lot of updates here. We got a lot of new pieces of unbalanced volume in the markets for the ES and the NQ. So we'll get into that here in a little bit. Took 3 days off from the stream this week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there was no stream. I actually was chaperoning my daughter's trip to DC, which was a phenomenal time. We had God, you just learned so much about our history. It was a nice sight to see. It was a great time to spend, one with my daughter, and two in one of our nation's great cities there. So with that being said, I'm hoping here we're pretty much got about a week, maybe 6 trading days left here in April. So we got to make the absolute best here of April. It's been a decent month. I would have loved to have been trading these last 3 days. Think that straight uptrend with my strategy, the AVT, which is the auction volume trend strategy. Absolutely, I post updates on my Discord every day on all of the setups that occurred, and they did extremely well, even in a very strong uptrending market. And I'll give you guys here some examples of why I believe that this is the superior way of trading with volume. And with that being said, let's get into the intro, and I'll get you into the new weekly bands and tradable levels for this coming week. As always, nothing that I state on my channel is financial advice. Trading futures or any type of trading is risky business. Any capital that is put out there is at risk for loss. All right, so let's get started here with start off with the ES. This was the Sunday gap on the 12th of April. So I had given you guys a level at the 68.15. Pretty much exactly occurred what I told you guys. You guys got to be careful with the gap, the Sunday gap that will obviously come up. We obviously started, we gapped below this level here at the 68.15 right here. As you guys can see, the level when we came right back up into it, you can see how well it held its line. But obviously in this upwards pressure that we had throughout this pretty much entire week, we were finally able to break it. And this 68.15 probably gave you, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 chances. This is on the 15-minute time frame. This gave you a bunch of chances here for about 5 or 6 points. Nothing huge, not a big reversal area, but as you guys can see, definitely an area that the market respected extremely well. So we continued on our strong upwards trajectory. We finally dipped into an old band here that we had at the 70.35 to the 69.95. And as you can see, the band, originally gave you a small rejection here, nothing huge. Had a very hard time getting through this volume compared to the into the steep incline that we had into it. But even this weekly band was not able to create a reversal from here. Just the markets were too strong, and finally did break through that 70.35 after spending almost, I think it was close to almost a day in this band here. So with that being said, let's make some updates. Our first update, we can change this band right here to the 70.89 to the 70.51. Again, that's going to be the 7.89 to the 70.51. Okay, sitting below where price action is currently at. We've got another band that we're going to have to make new. So all of our other bands are sitting below us. 68.05 to the 67.66. 68.05 to the 67.66. All right, so that one's sitting all the way back down here. It can delete this level. These are still your untested. All these areas here. This level at the 67.42. This band at the 66.90, and this level at the 66.70, all still are untouched. And again, if you want to receive a report every single Sunday with all of my bands and all of my tradable levels, which we have a few of, obviously, just go to my website, which is robstrades.com, and just put your name and your email in there. It'll pop up right on the homepage, and you can be a part of a list of over 2,000 people that receive that report every single Sunday. And I get tons of responses to that email saying how much these bands and levels have helped them profit from the markets, have helped them with their own strategies on finding areas of really strong resistance and support, supply demand. I call it unbalanced volume. So that's always encouraging. And then as far as our new tradable levels, let's get this to be white. First one is going to sit at the 71.40. 71.40. Okay. Now this is a very prime example of what I explain to you guys every single Sunday. As this one is pretty close to where price action closed on Friday, we're going to have a gap here at the Sunday open later on today. So this gap could be up here, it could be down here. So we're not going to be longing at this area at the 71.40 right off of the open, right? We're going to wait to see how the open gap occurs. If it occurs down here, we might want to look to see if we can make this type of move. If we open up here, then what we're looking for is obviously a move like this in the markets, okay? So remember, the first tradable level at the 71.40. Next level is going to be sitting at the 70.62. 70.62. Okay, now this one is unique. These are the ones that I truly love. The 70.62 is obviously sitting in this big unbalanced volume area right here from buyers. Those of you that watch my live stream every single morning, you guys know exactly what it is that I'm talking about right here. So very strong level here at the 70.62. If we move over to the NQ and we jump over to our gap from Sunday the 12th, which was right here. Okay, pretty big gap to the downside. And where did we gap right into? We opened up right at our weekly band that we had here at the 25.056 to the 24.959. Not very surprising. Again, big area of volume sitting for buyers over here. So as you can see, we finally came out of this band and made a very strong move, obviously, to the upside. And by that move that occurred to the upside, what we ended up doing was we ended up leaving a whole bunch of unbalanced volume bands and a whole bunch of levels sitting down here. Again, if you ask for the report, robstrades.com, you'll get excuse me, you'll get all of these bands in here, all of my levels that we have. So when price actions comes right back down, you guys are prepared for the markets there. So with that being said, let's map out our new weekly bands here at the 26. 26,500 to the 26,433, 26,500 to the 26,433. Okay, so that's our new weekly bands. Now these bands are very difficult areas in the market for price action to get through. Typically, we're going to need one of three things: headline news, high impact news, scheduled high impact news, or multiple retaps into the same band is really the only way to get through these bands, as you guys have seen over the last couple of years that I've been giving you guys these bands. So again, first one is sitting at the 26,500 to the 26,433. Our next band is going to be sitting at the 26,167 to the 26,094. 26,167 to the 26,094. Okay, that is your second weekly band for the week. Our next band is going to be sitting at the 25,722 to the 25,647. Again, that's the 25,722 to the 25,647. Okay, that's your third new weekly band for the week. And our fourth and final band is going to be sitting at the 25,422 to the 25,342, 25,422 to the 25,342. There we go. So those are all of your new weekly bands, and I know that these are all going to seem so far away, but as you guys have seen, we've made up over about 3,000 points here in a matter of two and a half weeks in the market. So the market could absolutely come right back down, retest some of these volume areas that it needs to balance out. So don't think that these are so far out that we're never going to see them again. They're in the sight hairs of the markets for sure. So be aware of that. As far as some new weekly levels, we'll start from the top. Our first one's going to be sitting at the 26,222, 26,222. Okay, sitting below where price action is at. Obviously, all of these are going to be sitting below price action. 26,131. 26,131. Okay, another band here at the 26,131. Strong unbalanced volume area right here. We could definitely see a nice rappel here from the market at this level right here. Let's give our next one, which is going to be at the 25,811. 25,811. And I believe we got one more here. We do. That's the beauty of when you have price action that moves like that, it leaves a whole bunch of levels for us. 25,420. Okay, and this one's sitting right at the top of this weekly band right here. Again, great area for the market to come, rebalance, and go right off the 25,420. And for those of you guys that have been watching the live streams, for the last probably 2 weeks, I have introduced what I consider to be a superior strategy that incorporates all of the best price action theories that we've been taught in the markets and adds a very interesting element of volume that has made the trading pretty much mechanical, which is beauty of it. For those of you that have been watching my channel over the years, I started off as a mechanical trader. I was not a good discretionary trader, and as my trading has evolved, being a student of the charts and just following price action for as long as I have, I was able to identify some key elements, some key things that I see in the markets, and they're very basic. One is, looking for that impulsive move. and then another impulsive move that breaks structure. For those of you that have gone through my volume masterclass, all of this has been taught, how I find my levels in the marketplace, looking for unbalanced volume areas. It incorporates everything. It really does. It incorporates everything. This AVT strategy incorporates everything into it, and it just makes it it's really good in trend. Let me turn this in trend markets. So when we get rippers like this, like what we have been seeing, the strategy still fares out extremely well, because what we're looking for is, once we get a break of structure, once we get an impulsive move, for those of you that want the exact rules to the strategy, one, you can watch me on my live stream every single morning. I do explain it. If you want, I have added this AVT strategy to my volume masterclass. There's probably over 15 hours in that masterclass, and I think we're up to over 14 modules with a bunch of bonus content that's in there. And then we go really in depth into this AVT strategy right here. And again, AVT, the acronym is Auction Volume Trend, which is exactly how it is that we trade. If you guys have been watching me on my stream, you guys know that I am looking for an unbalanced volume area in the market, and typically in a place, I believe that the market is strictly an auction. We're finding buyers and sellers, and when price action runs really quickly from an area, it usually leaves an area of unbalanced volume, and that's where the volume comes in. And then the trend is really truly the cornerstone to this strategy, because what we are always really doing is following the trend. Smaller scale trend, not the daily or the weekly or the monthly, but it's all price action. Everything is price action. And as we get retracements in the market and another move to the upside, I think we can all agree that this is exactly how the markets move every single day. The markets do not move in a straight line up, even on these rippers that we have seen over the last couple of weeks. You get retracements, and you get areas of unbalanced volume. So what we're looking for is, we are using our fixed volume profile tool, and we are finding the built-in levels here to trade from. That's what I love about this strategy, is it's extremely easy for me to teach. It's extremely easy for you to follow on my live streams. All of your levels, all of your entries, stop losses, take profits are all built into the fixed volume profile. And we are, like I said, it's a trend following system. It works really well in range days. There's one scenario where, the market will beat you up even on the best strategies, and the type of market that we really want to look out for and to try to avoid are the days like this, which, again, you might say, well, Rob, that's a ranging market. Yes, it is a ranging market, but what I showed you before was more indicative of an everyday type of ranging market. This is a very, very tough environment to trade on any strategy, really, because, again, you get a move to the upside. We want to see a continued trend, so we might want to capture a long at the value area low. We might have our stop sitting at the bottom of this impulsive move to the upside, pivot, swing point, whatever you want to call it, just to see the market come out, knock out our stop loss, and then continue in the direction that we were anticipating, and only to, possibly look for a short here on the break of structure at the value area high or the point of control, just to see your stop get hit, and then see price action go in this. So this is a scenario that does play out in the market. Those are my losing trades. Those are my losing days. But what we see most of is, if I can delete all of this again, if what we see most of is going to be this. We see this all the time, and we see this all the time, okay? In these scenarios, 1 and 2, This strategy captures almost everything, which is phenomenal. And that's why the win rate is really, really good on this AVT strategy. So again, if you want to dive deep into this, there's a link to my volume masterclass down below. Otherwise, join my live stream. You'll see me trade this in real time every single morning. And I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. Take care, everybody.